All right, guys, good evening. Let's see if this thing works. I'm gonna try on another way of trying to go. So let's see if this works. If you can see this, please let me know. If this is working, let me know as well. So we will make sure that it is loaded properly. If not, we'll try it again. But let's go. Let's see what happens. Do I got anybody in the lives? All right. Nothing on the live yet. We're checking it out. Look like Ryan just stepped in, so let's get Ryan on here. What's up, Ryan?
Not too much. How's it going?
Going good, man. Going good. How about you?
All right, I suppose. Another evening.
Yep. We got let's see here. Will Harris is in the chat, so he said the chats are working. So
What's up, Will?
I was kind of not sure how this was going to work out with going from the post, because last time I tried it, it didn't work.
So this one's going to work off of the original post?
Yeah, it's actually working off the original post. That is the first time it worked for me. So you're frozen on mine. He says you are frozen on mine. All right, so let's do this then. Let's do this. Hold on. There you go. It started.
Give me this shit.
It had 3 days before it started it. There you go. It started.
Give me this shit.
It had 3 days before it started it. There you go. It started.
Give me this shit.
It had 3 days before it started it. So were you able to hear that? See that?
A whole bunch of times I was.
So I'm assuming we got that down, and let's put up the chat. See what the chats are saying. Oops, gotta fix the chat link. All right. Nope, and that one, no, that's not it. What is going on here? There we go. I'm here. Okay, it's working now. Everything working here. What's good, Tint Fam? What's up? All right, guys. Let me go back to my screen. Let me put this over here. Let's go back to our normal screen. And Ryan is gone. We're waiting on our guest. He was asking me for links, and I think I told him that the link is there. But okay, give me 1 second, guys. The fun of doing lives. All right, cool. All right, so, all right. So let's get this thing started, right? We got a whole bunch of people here, so let's go with that. 1 second.
I got.
All right, so we got the chats working. We got this. I got filmed. Hi, gang. And oh, that's cool. I can get to my mouse over here. That's kind of fun. All right, so there goes the neighborhood. Okay, the neighborhood is gone from what I hear. All right. So sorry, you were about to say something, Ryan?
Me? Oh, I don't know. Oh, I was just saying I was changing the laundry over, when I'm down here That's my job. Get the laundry moving.
There you go. All right, so we got people in the chats, we got people on the live, and then we just got our guest here. So let me bring him on. Oh yeah, for the intro, we need to put some music into it. Yeah, we'll work on that. Just for the heck of it, we'll just play this one more time.
There you go. It started. Give me this shit.
It had 3 days before he started it.
I thought there was music to that intro. There's not.
I thought so too. I don't know, for whatever reason it's not working, but we'll work without it. It's all good. All right, so let's introduce our guest for the night, Mark. Give me 1 second here. Let me bring him on here. Good evening, Mark. How you doing today?
Hey, doing great. How are you guys?
Good. You can hear us okay?
Yep, hear you nice and clear. How about me? All good?
Yeah,
Perfect.
you're good. Video's good. Audio's good. Sorry, man. I was just trying to work on that PowerPoint you sent me. It's a very large file, and it was giving me some problems to get it opened up. So I got a little sidetracked with that. But anyways, we're here. Thank you for doing this for us. I know we've been trying to do this for a little while,
Okay.
and it's really appreciated that you're on here, taking the time out to teach us a little bit about what you do and what tools are out there. But thank you. And for the audience, I guess let's introduce who you are and what do you do.
All right. So yeah, I'm Mark Imbrock, one of the owners of EDTM. Our company makes all the test equipment that's used for testing windows, identifying types of coatings in the glass, performance of the glass, any type of characteristic. Really, we've got something for testing. As it applies to window film, obviously, you need to know what's in a window before you go putting film on a piece of glass on a window. So obviously with our background, we're going to focus mostly on architectural here. A little bit of stuff maybe on automotive, but mostly everything we deal with when it comes to window film is for the architectural side of things. So, yeah.
Now you do have some tools for the automotive side as well too, right? But mostly it's focused on the flat glass.
Yeah. Yep. Automotive side, we've got meters for checking the tint on the glass, the slide over type tint meters that go over the side windows, and we got the 2-piece design for testing the front windshields and the rear windows as well. Those are the only tint meters that are made in USA. Actually, everything else is made in China. We're the only American-made product, fully 100% made in USA. So some goodness there. Yeah, and then we get into some other products that are helpful for window film, the BTU meters, just showing how different window films perform and how they stop the sun's energy from coming through. So those are helpful in a selling standpoint as well for automotive.
Okay. So how long have you been in this industry?
So we started the company 32 years ago. We started off primarily in flat glass window manufacturers was our primary audience when we started the company, and that grew. We got into window film probably back in, it'd been early 2000s. We started getting some dialogue with window film. The industry was not ready. They were still learning what low E coatings were back in the early 2000s. And what impact their film was really having and the problems they were going to have if they didn't take care of things. So we were a little too early to the game at that point, but it didn't take more than probably 5 years after that. By the time we got into the late 2000s, pushing 2010, where the industry started realizing, geez, we need to know what's in those windows before we start slapping film on it and cracking glass and other problems. So yeah, it took a little while for window film to kind of adapt to what we do and really understand why they needed to know that information. I can remember first couple of window film shows, conferences I went to, people said, I see what it is. I have no idea why I would ever need that. So it's been a long educational process for sure. It's been fun watching the industry grow up. It's no longer it's no longer a bunch of people just working out of their garages. There's some really good business owners, some very savvy, tech savvy people in this industry now, and it's been fun to watch it grow and just to watch it mature and become a really great industry now. And also it's a cool industry just for the people. The glass industry is a little more sterile, I guess, if you will. The window film industry has a little more of a family feel to it. People a lot more willing to help each other out. So it's been kind of fun being in that industry as compared to some of the other industries that we work with. So yeah, been a fun ride.
So
A lot of
industry do you work with, just so we don't lose that part of it?
What was that?
What other industry do you work with other than film and glass?
So glass is our primary. We work with all the glass producers pretty much around the world. And then as far as window manufacturers, we work with pretty much every window manufacturer in North America and a pretty good number of them from around the world also. We get into anybody that's processing glass, if they're laminating, tempering, adding specialty coatings. We're working with all of those companies. Any window manufacturer, whether it's residential or commercial glass, we're working with them. We then get into window film, and that's been a really nice growing market for us. It's been pretty substantial growth in the last 5 years, and looking forward to that continuing. And then photovoltaic, we do a little bit with solar panel industry, and that's pretty much our primary market. It's a niche, what we do. I'd like to tell you we could sell to everybody in the world, but only so many people dealing with glass, so our market's pretty limited in that regard.
Mm-hmm. One of the things you were talking about is kind of hard to get into tinting. I feel like a lot of us that have been in the industry for a while, we have to like honestly like think about not getting stuck in our ways. You know, a lot of us do get stuck in our ways, and when something works, you know, you're like, why do I have to spend this money if this is working, right?
Right.
But until we find out, like we have to like earn our bruises and cuts and bruises. You know, we have to like break stuff, and then we're like, oh hey, they were telling us that we were going to do this. We better go talk to them again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it does. It takes, and that's just kind of the nature of the beast and the audience that we deal with window film. Until they feel a hurt, a lot of times they don't want to spend the money to pick up a device to protect them. So we encounter that too. In window, we do a lot with window replacement companies that are going and they're just going and replacing IGs like a Glass Doctor or any of those organizations, and they're the same way. They'll go like, well, you know, we get away with it pretty good. It's like, and until they don't, and it's all good till you don't, and they're like, geez, yeah, we just wasted 10 grand last week on a project, and it's like, yeah. That $1,600 meter doesn't sound so expensive anymore after 10 grand that we could have prevented for you. So yeah, it is. A lot of it sometimes just takes experience. And I think back to this guy at a trade show. He came to our booth every year at Glass Build America for like 4 years. He was going to buy a glass check. He was going to buy a check. 4 years running. He showed up every year. It became a joke that what do you not buy here? In like year 5, he bought one. Then that next year, and the next year he came back and he's like, "Why did you make me buy this sooner?" He goes, "I can't believe how much it saved me, how much headache it saved me, how much money I've saved. I've cut out all my mistakes." He said, and he's like, "Well, we did all we could. I did everything but pulled the money out of your pocket, so I can't do everything." So, yeah.
You know, one thing I will say, and it took me about 2 years to buy the tool as well, but it was also me trying to get into the flat glass a little bit more comfortably before I buy the tools. You know, I bought the little low E card a while back, but meeting you with a lot of these different events and talking to you in the last couple of years, you know, it gave me more and more knowledge. And it was the same thing. You know, we now bought the Elite, and man, is it a game changer, as well as that the little camera, the infrared camera that you got, man.
Sure.
Makes selling the film so much easier when you can just put the film right there on the glass and shoot that, you and here's the cool thing. What I really love about it, Mark, is I don't only show what's on the window. I look at their floor and show the heat that's coming onto the floor on it, and that really just like wows the customers. And I have only done a handful of those, but it's those tools are really amazing. What you guys done with it? What now? Have you been with the company since day one? Is this a company that you helped found, or did you just somehow stumble onto it? What made you get into this? Oh, I think he's frozen.
Uh-oh.
Yep, I'm sorry. You cut out there for a second.
I guess you froze there for a second.
What you were saying?
Uh-oh.
I missed it.
You're breaking up bad, but it might be a connection issue.
All right. Is that on? Do you think that's on my end or on your guys' end?
I think it might be on your end because me and Ryan we haven't flinched and we haven't slowed up.
Okay. Let me check one connection here real quick. Give me just 1 second. I want to make sure.
Now it's working.
Now it's working that you left, right? What's up, guys? While Mark's away, if you guys have any questions that you guys want to ask about, he does have a presentation that he does want to present and show you guys some stuff. In fact, I just downloaded it a few minutes ago, and I haven't even really looked at what it is, but it looks pretty interesting for the presentation, and it's pretty decent amount of information on there. So if you guys got, he's blocking the signals. He's just showing you how good the tools are, that he can also block the live as well. And that's some of the stuff that they put into these tools. Read what's blocking it, and he's trying to give you guys a real life example how to fix it. We got some jokers in the chats. All right.
So you were asking if he Cash was asking you if you helped found the company or if you just kind of like stumbled into it, or what kind of brought you into that line of work.
Yeah, I kind of backed into it, honestly. My business partner and I were working for the same company, an engineering company. I was just a year or two out of college. And we were working for the company. They kind of hit some financial trouble. And my partner and I started talking, and we're like, hey, we can do this on our own. So we made a split from that company. That company had the first patent for the first low E coating detector. Jeff and I saw an opportunity. We just worked out a deal where we took the patent with us and basically made our split and started from there. So it was basically vision at 24 years old, I guess I was 23, 24 years old. And we just got after it and grew it slowly, and it took a while, but we got it rolling, got a few products under our belt. It took off from there. So started from grassroots, basically nothing, and built it to where it is today.
That's awesome.
So you and Jeff were the original founders of the company?
Yeah, yep, and still are the two co-owners of the company.
Oh, nice, beautiful. And you guys been in business for 32 years.
Yeah, exactly. It's been a minute.
Wow.
I noticed recently, like with Expel and their flat glass warranties, now they want very, very specific readings on everything, and it's almost becoming a necessity to have your tools so that they can get, and it makes a lot of sense. If they're going to be backing you on these installs on all these different types of windows, if you can give them that information, they can they'd be so much more secure in their, backing of you and putting those films on. So I'd like to see maybe some more manufacturers maybe doing the same thing as well.
Yeah, that's it's interesting. Some of the film manufacturers have been very proactive. and have jumped on this very quickly. I don't know. Are you guys comfortable if I talk about film companies, or do you guys try to keep this?
This is
Okay.
an open
Yes.
platform, man. We're not one way or the other, man. We're here for general knowledge and whatever. It's okay. You want to cuss?
Sure.
That's okay too.
Yeah. Yeah. So SolarGuard, going back to the history of it all, SolarGuard was the first group that really saw it and got it. And going back to the days when Larry Constantine was there kind of running things, he was one of the first people that really saw it. And he goes, we need this. He goes, our industry has to have this. And I said, I know. I've been there and trying to explain why this is. And so they were an early adapter to it. And then a couple other film companies kind of then started also jumping on board and like, yeah, we do need this. And so did little stuff here and there. Expel's been very, very proactive. Harry, when he jumped in there, he knew him and I had worked together in his previous life when he was with Uber Optic, and they were pretty aggressive and jumped on board with things as well in the early days. So that just kind of carried right over with Harry when he ended up at Expel, and we went, So it's some of the companies are very aggressive about it. Some of them making it mandatory to own our products. There's been different programs like that put in place, which obviously we think that's great. we love stuff being a mandatory purchase. But it makes sense when you look at it. Broken glass and everything else, and warranty claims and all of that. It really does. The return on investment is totally there, and that's what I think more companies are starting to realize. And yeah, I've got 100 stories for you of broken glass and windows and people calling, and it's like, yeah, you got to protect yourself if you're doing architectural. You can't. It's not the Wild West of just slapping film on anything, because it'll bite you eventually.
Well, that's really funny because a lot of calls we get in, and it'll be like, yeah, I want to get a quote, and it's a standard size window, and a lot of people say the same thing with the glass. Well, it's just glass, And what Ryan was saying, we're dealing with Expel, so we've seen the change happen this year, and obviously I've met you at the last couple XDCs as well as WFCT. Is that now they're making it more mandatory to do the warranty. I think it helps a lot with knowing the product, knowing the application, like the glass. They want to know the thickness, they want to know where the coating is, they want to know what product you're putting on there. I think that does a couple things. One, it gives the company, like Ryan says, helps them back you up and warranty it properly. The second thing, it eliminates what you said earlier. A lot of guys that's coming out of the garage and doing it and not knowing it and just applying anything to any glass and causing that breakage, causing that, issues with the film. So, we're in Atlanta, and we get a lot of people that will just come in and put automotive film on and lowball it, and they get the job. And then you have customers that now have a issue or a nightmare with this situation, and having these tools and the warranty to properly back that up, I think goes hand in hand. I mean, it's right in what it should be. And I think if everybody's not jumping on that, they should, because the mandate on that is very important, and the cost on it is, like you said, it pays for itself. It's just like when we tell customers, why not go with ceramic tint? It's going to pay for itself. It's the same thing with the tools. I mean, your tool actually, I think, pays for it a little bit faster, because most of the jobs are pretty decent sized jobs when you're doing flat glass. And the cost, even on the Elite, man, I mean, it's just, it's not that bad, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So Maverick,
it takes people a while to figure that out, but once they do, it makes sense.
Maverick was asking, what's the max heat absorption rate that you can have on a low E window? I think there's a couple different variations that would affect that, right?
Yeah. That's not. There's not a black and white answer to that question. It's going to be a matter of knowing where the low E coating is on the window. That's the first thing you have to know, is what surface has that low E coating, and then knowing what type of low E coating it is the second thing you need to know. Third item then is the glass tempered or not, or heat strengthened in any way. Those are your three primaries. You need to know those things first. Once you have that information, you'll hear me say this a million times, go to your film to glass chart. That is the Bible by which every film installer should work. Don't know what a film to glass chart is, you shouldn't be putting film on architectural glass.
Right.
That is, every film producer has done the legwork, and they know what that situation is, what type of low E coating, what surface it's on. Once you have that information, then they will give you the selection of window films that are approved for that type of window. And they know, and that's going to get you the warranty and everything else. Obviously, they're going to play it safe and make sure that what they're giving you is going to be safe for that film to go on that glass. And then it allows you to make the best choice for your customer. If they're really trying to go after reducing heat gain, and you're putting on a real conservative film because you're afraid to break the glass, that's where you're not really doing your customer a service. And your goal is obviously to make the customer as happy as you can. And if that's their primary concern is heat gain, you really need to know where those coatings are, what type they are, so you can choose the most aggressive film possible, but still be safe as far as film glass breakage goes. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I have another question before you start your thing there. So, what's the most common issue? Is it like glass breakage or maybe seal failure? Do you find with companies that haven't started using your tools yet?
Glass breakage is probably the number one thing.
Yeah.
I hear horror stories, and there's been many in the industry. There was I can remember several years ago, there was a house on the I think it was North Carolina coast. It was like a 10 or 11,000 square foot home, all windows, obviously for the view. And they put window film on every window in that home and broke about 2/3 of the windows. And I took the phone call, and I remember them saying, they're like, "What happened?" I was like, "Well, where was the low E coating?" They're like, "Well, we didn't check." And I was like, yeah, on a project like that, on any project, I go, you should have checked where the coating was. They made the assumption that the coating was out on surface 2. It was in fact on surface 3. So that inboard pane of glass had a low E coating. They put a film on there and they cracked most of the glass, most of the windows in there. Yeah, it was a 6-figure mistake. And it's like, wow. In that case, a $90 product would have saved them a couple $100,000. But
oh man,
yeah, yep. So it's just you gotta protect against that. You gotta know where those coatings are. That's the primary thing. And with things changing and the types of windows they're building now, it's just getting more and more complex. You really got to pay attention.
So having it on coating 3, having low E coating on surface 3, what does that do to what kind of application can be applied? Because when you're talking about, layers, layer 1 is going to be obviously wherever you're putting your tool on, right? And when you have a 2-pane glass, when you have a glass that has 2 pieces to it, right? Your coating is, surface 1, surface 2 is the back of that glass. You got your airspace, and then you got the second glass. You're talking about 3 on that, and then you're talking about 4 being on the outside, right? Just to kind of clarify when you're talking about surface 3.
Yeah. So
right. So
a couple of things. This is in my PowerPoint, but I'll just explain it. It's 2 things to consider here. One, surface 1 is as the industry calls it. Surface 1 is always the exterior of the home or building. Surface 4, if it's a double pane window, surface 4 is going to be the side that's facing inside the building. So you got 1 on the exterior, 4 on the facing inside the home. 2 and 3 are obviously in the airspace of that double pane window. So when we talk about a surface 3 low E coating, that means that inboard pane of glass has a low E coating on it. That's when you got to be really careful about what film you're going to put on surface 4. You're doing majority of people do interior film installations, so they're putting that coating on surface 4. You really want to make sure there's no low E coating on 3. If you blindly put a window film on 4 without knowing that there's a surface 3 coating, you're rolling the dice, and you may end up cracking glass. So that's the key thing. So one exterior, 4 is the interior. So when you're taking a reading with our glass check meters, they don't know if you're standing inside or outside. So the meter, surface that you're touching with the meter is surface 1 to the meter's results. So if your measurement, all the stars are aligned, 1 is really surface 1, surface 4 is really surface 4, everything is great. You just have to remember, if you're taking a reading on the inside, which a lot of times you do, you just have to remember that if it comes up and says surface 2, that's the second surface as the meter sees it. That's technically surface 3, as the industry would call it. So if you're standing inside and it says surface 2, that pane of glass has a low E coating, and it's just on the other side of that piece of glass that you're touching. So that's the one thing that occasionally people get screwed up. It's like, but I was standing inside, and I was like, yeah, if you're standing inside, you just got to remember, the meter doesn't know where you're standing. Surface 1 is always the surface you're touching. So if you are inside, you just have to flip the numbers to what they are for the industry. And that's really critical when you go back to your
I think that's a very, very good point to point out is, easiest way I remember is wherever I'm touching, that's always surface 1. So whether I'm inside or outside, meter is going to go on surface 1. And then, like you said, 2, 3, and 4. The funny thing is, me and Ryan's been to a consultation where some windows, they put the glass the right way. Some windows, they put it opposite. So, just because you check on one glass doesn't mean all of them are the same, or the measurement may look the same and the measurement on the windows are slightly off. We've run into that. But, like you said, the meter doesn't know that you're standing outside or inside. It's just wherever you're touching. Easiest way to remember is 1, 2, 3. And that's the kind of way I've kind of like now memorized it. Is like, hey, whether I'm touching inside or outside. Another thing I kind of run into is, like, we were at a construction site today, and we put the Elite on there, and they give a different reading on one glass and they give a different reading on another glass. And what I realize is if it's got dust on it a little bit, that reader, it can be affected by that little dust on there. And then we put the same window, because like your diagram shows, and I'm not sure if it's in the presentation or not, but you can put it on the bottom, you can put it on the right edge quarter or the other edge or the top edge to kind of get the reading. So when we put it on the bottom, it had dust on it, it didn't read right. I put it on the left side, and it was the same reading as the window right before it. So kind of just verifies that, hey, are we getting more accurate reading or not? I think we'll get a lot of those questions answered in the presentation, like you said. So let me get this presentation started, so that way you can kind of answer some of these, and then we can answer any question that's left after that, I guess. Okay. So you let me know, and there you go. There's your presentation.
Yeah, you can move. Yeah, there you go. We'll jump right in there. So basically, I'll go through quickly, and I'll try to keep this as concise as I can, so we don't sit here all night, because I could talk all night. We're going to cover basically protection from making those mistakes, as we've talked about, the breaking the glass, adding professionalism, just having the meter, being able to go in front of a customer and actually tell them what's in their windows. If your competition isn't that, boom, you've already set the bar really high for what you're doing there. That obviously is with the customer. We'll talk about just having these tools does, and how it kind of converts you into sales technician. Technicians are just naturally trusted more, so that's a benefit. Setting expectations for what your film are going to do, we'll cover that quick, and then just making that proper selection. So we'll breeze through all those things here. So you can cruise to the next one. So windows of opportunity. So we talk about what window film does. Basically, the key things: fade protection is one of the big topics. Glare reduction certainly is a benefit to window film. Privacy, just people wanting to be able to not be seen Certainly window film is big there. And then heat rejection. And heat rejection is the primary one I'm going to focus about. Obviously, window film has all those other benefits, but we're going to put most of our discussion point on heat rejection and what that means and how you're helping the customer with heat rejection and how our tools are going to help you set those expectations and know what you're going to actually recommend and what impact it'll have. Just going through, we already talked about this. So outside is surface 1, the inside facing the airspace surface 2, the other pane of glass surface 3, and then that interior facing surface is 4. So typically low E coatings for the most part, primarily you will find them on surface 2. That's best in the southern climates and central part of the U.S. as well. In some climates, you might find a little more frequently a low E coating on surface 3. When they were originally designed, all windows in the north were surface 3 low E's. All windows in the south were surface 2. The window manufacturers got lazy and didn't like producing a surface 2 and a surface 3 window. So they just went to all surface 2 low E's and said, everybody's just going to have to live with the surface 2 low E. So majority of windows sold today, regardless of in your north or the south, are going to be surface 2 low E's. So outboard pane of glass, if you're putting your film on the inside surface 4, then you're pretty safe with whatever the low E coating is out on surface 2. Still good to check your film to glass chart just to make sure, but that's the biggest issue you're looking for, is there being no low E coating on surface 3. Or we'll talk about this in a little bit. So surface 2 primarily better for hot climates, surface 3 better for cooler climates, where you want to focus more in the winter of keeping the heat inside the home, as opposed to the solar gain side, surface 2, where in the south you're just more focused on keeping heat out. So just a real quick basic on low E coating placement and what you run into. Now, even with that said, most windows are manufactured with a low E on surface 2. As you mentioned, it doesn't mean they don't make mistakes, and they make mistakes every day. There's human interaction involved in building a window. So you better believe there's always going to be mistakes, and you might run into a couple windows that are flipped and the low E coating is on 3 when the rest of the windows is on 2. So I tell people I would check every glass, every window before you put film on it, just to make sure you don't have one flipped, because once the glass is broke, it's on you. So, and then we'll talk a little bit. I won't go crazy deep on this, but just so you understand, we've talked about surface 1, 2, 3, and 4. You're also going to hear me talk about how many layers of silver, or triple silver, or a double silver, or single silver low E's. This basically affects the impact of how that window performs. A triple silver low E window means it actually has 3 layers of silver put down on that coated surface. So it's 3 layers. Think of it as paint, 3 layers of paint on that glass surface to get the performance of that window. I just presented to Cardinal Glass last week. Was that last week? Yeah, it was last week, and got to go to their coating plant. If you ever get a chance to go to a Cardinal plant or any plant that produces low E glass, go. It is absolutely amazing what they do and how technical it is. And yeah, it's just outstanding. So, but yeah, triple silver low E's, we'll get into more about how the different low E's perform, but just want to explain, when I talk about a triple silver, I'm actually talking about a low E coating that literally has 3 layers of silver. The more layers of silver, the higher performing window you're going to have. So, and handy little reference card. This comes with our glass check meters and our profilers and solar spectrum meters. It's got all the buzzwords. If you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this stuff. There's just a few definitions that you know, and those are on that handy reference chart that comes with it, talking about what solar heat gain coefficient is and different things, which we'll get into that in a second as well.
Those are pretty neat cards.
Yeah, they're super popular. It doesn't matter who I talk to. Everybody wants copies. I took copies up to Cardinal Glass, a company that produces low E glass, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, can we have more of these?" I was like, "Yeah, it's just a great resource to have all the different low E coatings in one place to look at." Hit the advance the slide 2 more times. There's 2 settings that'll pop up here for us. There you go. So what this card does is don't freak out. There's a lot of data on here. You don't need all of it. If you really get into it, you can, but you'll see down the left column, it's going to have that it shows double pane products, and then it shows soft coats, low E's. So you have 2 different types of low E's. Real brief, I won't go crazy on this. Hard coat low E's are pyrolytic. That was the first low E coating ever invented back in the 70s, 80s. It was when that was prevalent. Mid 80s, you would have got soft coat low E. So pyrolytic hard coats, the low E coating is actually baked into the glass. You can't get it off. It literally becomes part of the glass. There's nothing you can do to it. It's there. Only bad thing about hard coats, they're only good for keeping heat in. They do nothing to stop heat gain. So if you put that up thinking you're going to stop your home from getting hot, it's not going to do anything. It does a great job of trapping the heat inside, but that's all that a hard coat does. Soft coats are the more common low E coatings. They came later. It's a soft coat. They call it a soft coat because it can't be exposed to the atmosphere. Has to be trapped inside an airspace. If that seal goes bad on that window, you will see that low E coating start deteriorating immediately. Within a month, you'll start seeing a purple haze on it. That's that soft coat going bad. So the soft coats have much more capability performance-wise. Single silver doesn't do much. It's kind of like a hard coat low E, lets all the heat in and then traps it inside. Great for the north. The last thing you'd want in the south. Double silver low E's, that's the low E squareds, was the buzzword that Cardinal named it and became kind of the industry standard for double silver low E's. They call it low E squared. Better performance, lower solar heat gain coefficients. And then triple silvers came after that. Triple silver low E's, 3 layers of silver, solar heat gain coefficients down in the 20s. So a very high performing window when you're talking about triple silver low E's. That's what you're going to be watching for with your customers. You'll see a lot of triple silver low E's out there, which lessens the benefit of window film. And that's one of the key points we're going to talk about. Double silvers, your window film can still do quite a bit for them. Single silver and hard coats, you're going to make a substantial difference on those windows when it comes to heat gain. So solar heat gain, again, SHGC value, that's just the rating on the window. The lower the rating, the better performance of that window as far as stopping heat gain from coming in that window. So triple silvers, low solar heat gains down in the 20s, double silvers in the 30s, single silvers and hard coats up in the 60s. So just to give you a range of what those look like. So, but that reference chart, whenever you can get your hands on it, get it and hold on to it because it's the Bible. So yeah, we'll jump on from you're doing window film projects. You go out to a customer site, you have nothing. You don't have any meters, you have nothing. The customer says, hey, I have heat gain issues in this room. What can your film help me? And I don't know how people do it. But unless they know what's in those windows, they really don't know what the window film is going to do for that application. It might do very, very limited benefits from a heat gain standpoint. So you go into a situation without it, you're flying blind. And there's really, you can talk about security, you can talk about lowering the light that's coming in, but you really don't know anything about heat gain. So that's one of the things that you need something, and you have no protection against breaking glass. So we'll go on to the next one, and we'll do just the basics. If you've got nothing else in your arsenal, pick up a low E card. They're $99 now. They went up a little bit. They were $89 before. But for $99, you can put that on the window, push the button, and it will let you know if you're standing inside. It'll let you know if there's a low E coating on the surface you're touching, or if the other side of that glass has low E coating, which is going to be a little more common. So if you're standing inside and it says Surface 2, that really is a Surface 3 low E coating. You know now that you have to be very careful about what film you put on that glass. At least if you know there's a low E coating, go to your film to glass chart, and they'll give you a general idea even without knowing the type of low E. But again, with this, if you go into this situation, you've got that, you at least are going to protect yourself from breaking glass. So that application I talked about in North Carolina, a couple $100,000 for $99 at that time, $89, they could have themselves all that broken glass, but they went in with nothing.
This is the one that you were asking about.
Talk about walking in and
card. Sorry, somebody asked about the $99 card. This is the $99.
At a minimum, if you don't have at a minimum, spend the $100 and protect yourself from unknowingly ever putting film on a. So, yeah. So we're back to that same application. Now you've walked in, you have a low E card, and the customer says, "Hey, can you help me with the heat gain issue?" It's like, well, you still don't know. Honestly, you don't really know, but at least you can protect yourself with the film you choose, and you'll know that you're not putting it on a low E painted glass, so you get the protection. So now we move into the glass check. This is where you can really find out what's going on. So glass check Elite, what it's going to do, it's going to identify your low E coating in the window and let you know what surface has that low E coating discussed. It'll let you know surface 1, surface 2, surface 3, or surface 4 of a double pane window. It's also going to give you the glass thickness, spacer thickness, overall thickness. Not as critical for window film. Sometimes they do on some film to glass charts. They do want to know the glass thickness. So that into play where they want to know, hey, is it 1/4 inch glass? Is it 3/32 inch glass? Is it sometimes that comes into play on the warranty. The Elite will identify laminated glass as well. If any areas that are near a coast, very high probability you're going to have hurricanes, and that laminated glass is going to come into play, which lessens the options for window film. So you really need to be careful there. So this will identify that for you as well. The Elite has a graphical display. We'll see it on the next slide. In a couple slides, it'll show an actual video. It shows a drawing of where the meter is, and then in correspondence to where the low E coating is. So it really helps you to understand that, so you're not making mistakes on that, identifying where it is. And then the film to glass chart, having that compatibility, this is going to be what they're asking you for the information from this meter to selection. And then we're going to talk about the expectation. This is where it comes in play, where if the customer says, hey, is your film going to make any difference for me from a heat gain standpoint? Again, unless you've got an Elite, there's no way for you to know what the performance of that window is. So we'll talk about that here when we go on to the next video, next screen. So yeah, here's just a real quick video showing you this is what the meter does. Literally, you put it on the window, hit the button. In 5 seconds, it's going to come up, and it's going to pop up and give you. There we go. So it shows you the glass 1 thickness, glass thickness. So you have 2 pieces of 1/8 inch glass. You have a 1/2 inch spacer in between. You can see on the drawing the meter there on the left. So it's giving you in relation, showing the panes of glass in your meter. 3/4 inch your overall thickness. It's blinking that number 3, so you know that second pane of glass has a low E coating. And this screen tells you that it is on surface 3. Then we know it's a soft coat low E, so we know if it's a soft coat or hard coat. And then lastly, it's going to tell you, is it a triple silver, double silver, single silver, low E? So now we know the performance of that window as well. So beyond knowing that there is a coating, we're going to help make sure we don't break glass by putting, like if that was blinking number 2, you would have to be really careful, because now you're on a low E painted glass. Good going to break it by putting film on. So now that we have this information, you can go on to the next screen. I don't know if I do an example on the next screen. We'll see here. Yeah. Oop, starting it again. Yeah, see if you can get it to go to the next slide.
I was hoping that me just clicking like I was doing before would let
Yeah,
us
usually
do
it
that.
does.
Uh-oh. I hear a bunch of clicking.
All right, hold on.
There you go.
We'll go old school way. Let me see if I can do this.
There you go.
Let's get through it real quick. We were here, 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 and here, and here.
And
Am I going to be able to go forward? Nope. All right, let's see. Oh, there we go. There's the button.
there we go.
I found it.
All right.
Technical
Yep,
difficulties
good deal.
for
All right. So let's see. I guess I didn't give an example. So basically, we've gone into that customer's home now. They have asked us what their concern was heat gain, and if they've asked you, "Hey, can your film help me?" Honestly, your answer is, "I don't know. Let's take a look." So you'd have to put the meter on the window, and I strongly recommend doing this right in front of the customer because they're going to be eaten out of your hands when you put that meter on their windows and explain everything to them about their windows. This is what's going to turn you into the sales technician. You're not just a salesperson anymore. You're now a sales technician. And as I've learned, we produce all the sales kits for all the replacement window companies, Renewable Anderson, Pella, Champion. You go down the line, we provide them all of their sales kits. They go in with our products to do analysis of a room before they replace the windows. And they came back to us and like, you wouldn't believe our closing rates went through the roof. And we had this discussion. It's because they're not salespeople anymore. They're technicians. And everyone's a technician more than they do a salesperson. Salesperson's job is just to sell. A technician's job is to actually analyze and give you information. So again, the last check, I hear this all the time. People are like, "Man, that's the best sales tool ever." I was like, "Well, it's not really a sales tool. They're like, it is when you pull it out in front of a customer and they're eating out of your hands because you can tell them everything about the window." So yeah, jumping back to our scenario, can you help me with heat gain? The answer is, I don't know. I'd have to know what your window's already doing before I can tell you what my window film is going to do. So you go and put that on there. If it does come up and says, "Hey, it's a triple silver low E," that's the highest performing window made. It's a solar heat gain down in the 20s. Your window film is going to move the needle about that much. They're not going to feel a difference. And if you've grandiosely told them, "Oh yeah, window film takes care of heat gain," you're gonna notice a huge difference. They're not. So what this does is this helps you set the right expectation for your customer, and so you don't overpromise and underdeliver. Again, goal is to always have happy customers, and if you can set the expectation right, then you're going to be in good shape. So triple silvers, you want to say, you know what, you already have the best performing window out there. I can put my film on there, and it'll help you with privacy. It'll help you with glare. I can help you with all those things. We're going to move the needle a little bit for heat gain. To get aggressive, if it was a triple silver, you might want to go to an exterior film. The more work you can do before it gets to that coating, the better performance. And you can then let them know an exterior film's probably a better application here. Going to cost maybe a little bit more. But if your heat gain is your primary goal to reduce it, then that's probably the way to go in a situation like this. So this just gives you more information to share with your customers so they can make a good decision they're happy to end up with. The flip side of that, you go put there and it tells you it's a single silver or a hard coat, then you can really be pretty aggressive and say, yeah, you're going to notice day one when I put this film up, it's going to reduce that heat gain so much you're going to see it and feel it instantly on the first day. So it's all about setting the right expectation, making sure you're giving your customer what they need, and you're not doing something or putting something on the glass that's not going to get the result they're looking for. So that's the primary benefit, is setting the right expectation, making sure you're never putting film on a piece of glass without knowing it's low E. Those are the primary benefits of what it's going to do for you in the analysis part of meeting with your customer. This slide just has a couple of helpful things. We talked about surface numbers if you're standing outside. Surface one is the industry calls it. If not, you're inside. You just got to flip the readings. Let's see, what else do we have? Yeah, if you're taking pictures or you're jotting down your measurements, make sure you jot down or add to your picture a note that that reading was taken from the outside or that was taken from the inside. If you just take a picture of the meter and send it to your film supplier, that's the first question they're going to ask. I can't tell if that's inside or outside. One of the things you might come across, if you ever run into windows that have excessively large air spaces, like 3/4 of an inch, you'll get this reading that says glass exceeds Lowy range. It just means the first pane of glass is clear, uncoated glass, and the second pane of glass we can't measure it. It's too far away. So when that measurement ever comes up, just go to the other side of the window, and then that'll check that second pane of glass from the other side and cover you. And then the last bullet point there is starting to make windows with 2 Lowy coatings in them. So when that happens, know that the glass check will only identify the first Lowy coating it sees. If there's a second Lowy coating, you'd have to go around to the other side of the window for that to see if there's a coating on the other pane of glass as well. So just a couple of helpful hints for out in the field. Yeah, so windows of opportunity, I kind of already did that. We went through and we talked about going through and going to that chart, and you can pull the chart right out for the customer and say, hey, you've got a triple silver low E. That first column is solar heat gain coefficient. Look at your window. It's already down in the 20s. My window film is not going to move that needle much. So I can put that film on. It's going to help a little bit. It's not going to be substantial. Or we can go extra and we can probably move that needle a little more. So you can literally bring the chart out and show them so they can see, hey, this is what your window is, and this is how it ranks in the offering of windows that are out there from a performance standpoint. Here's where you're at, and this is why my film's going to make a difference or not make a difference for you. So again, if you're doing this and your competitors are not, you're going to crush them. I had just 2 months ago, I had somebody, they told me they were the fourth. It was a big commercial project. They had 4 bidders on the project. This individual went in, was the 4th person in there, was the only one that showed up with a glass check to actually check the windows. The customer was blown away. They're like, wow, it's like nobody else checked my windows. How would they know what film to put on? And this person was smart and is like, yeah, I don't know. They're rolling the dice on your windows. I wouldn't do that. You need to know where that coating is, what type it is, so we make sure we make the right selection. He walked out with a contract that day. He landed it, and it was a big job. So again, if your competitors aren't doing it, you're just way ahead of where they're at. And again, yourself into a sales technician. That's super. Can't overstate the importance of that.
Awesome.
Yep. So
yeah,
that's all that stuff related to Lowy coatings.
You see, Justin just said that it happened. The same thing happened to him as well. He came in with the meter, and they chose him immediately.
I'm telling you, now that I carry the meter, definitely get that respect a lot more. Like, okay, this guy is more professional. You can see the actual customer's expression and face change when you pull that out, especially the way you guys got it in the nice little case, like that little bag. Like it's really cool to just like, okay, hey, they really take care of this tool. This tool must be important because it's so protected. It's so the way it's kind of just presentation is really nice.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. You want to protect the investment. That's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to spend $1,600 on a tool, man, you better have a good $50 case for it. Right.
Exactly.
Oh, that's awesome.
So moving in. Yeah. Yep. Moving into a couple of other items, our strengthened glass detector. This will identify if the glass is tempered or not. Hopefully, normally you'll have the bug stamped in the bottom corner where you can just read it and see that, hey, this glass is tempered. Obviously, the benefit of strengthened glass, once you have that and know that it's strengthened glass, you got a green light to put any film on you want. There's There's literally, I don't think, any restrictions from any film supplier. Once they know it's strengthened glass, you can put anything on that glass you want, and it's going to be strong enough to endure. So if the bug's not there, sometimes behind a stop, if there's some type of fancy frame around the window, or if it's older glass, maybe it doesn't have it. If there's ever a doubt, you can pull this out, slide it across the glass, and you can see if the glass is in fact tempered or not. So great little extra resource to have. It's come in handy several times for people just recently, again, where they're like, man, there's no stamp on this window, but the customer swears they're tempered. It's like, well, have them sign off on it that it is. So when the glass breaks, you're good, or just check it. And they checked it, and they were tempered glass with no stamp no bug in the corner. So it happens. So extra protection for you.
Yep, I've definitely seen them before where they weren't there. Sometimes in the windows of this one project I was on, you could kind of see it starting to stick out of the frame on a couple of the windows, but so you could tell that most of it was behind the frame.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It gets behind that stop, and then it's like, well, you can either start pulling stops, or you just pop a meter on there, and you can tell that way as well. So, but yeah, usually down there, if it says tempered, you got a green light. You're going to put anything you want on that piece of glass. It's not going to break when you put your film on there. And there's other things that information that you'll find on some of these windows, like Anderson windows, Smart Sun Low E4, heat lock. I can tell you all about that just by that name. I know everything about that. Again, being the supplier of all their sales kits, we populate all the window samples. We actually build a lot of the window samples for all these companies go in these sales kits. So we know what they're selling. We know what low E's are going in there, and thus we know what all their code words are for all their coatings. So sometimes we can be a great resource. That's one of the things too, is you buy meters from us. You don't just get the meters, you get our backing as well. So I'm on the phone every day with people in the field, like, hey, here's what's going on. Here's what the meter's saying. I just don't believe it. Can you walk me through? And well, sometimes there's some oddball applications, and we can walk you through it. So same thing with stuff like this. Hey, do you know what that is? In a lot of cases, we're going to know what those words mean and what coatings they are. So a lot of information on the window.
That's awesome.
I will say this: they're a lot like Apple. As soon as their new product comes out, or you buy the new one, the old one stopped working. Because I had the low E card, and as soon as I bought the Elite, I was on the phone with Mark about it. I don't know if Mark remembers. I called him. It wasn't working right, and then I'm calling, and the damn thing drops, and it's giving the flashlight, and Mark's like, the only time that flashes like that is when it needs to be reset, and it's not worth you to ship it and reset it and send it back to you. Just buy another one. I'm like, well, we got the Elite. He was like, well, you're set then.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, once you got the Elite, you really don't need a lot of the other tools. Sometimes it's nice to have the low E cards, just if you want to, like, if you're just going to check. I'm just going to check every window before I film it. I'll just spot check it to make sure that we don't have a window that's full and there's a low E on this on this piece of glass. So some people just do that as a quick spot check because it's quick, it's easy, and they keep it in their pocket, as opposed to the glass check that's a little bigger and if they just don't want to have it out the whole time they're working. So yeah, gives you options. So a couple things to start watching for. Surface 4 coatings. Anything built in the last 3 years from a window standpoint, especially in the last year and a half, you'll have to start watching for a Surface 4 low E coating. So Surface 4, obviously this is super critical for window film because that's a surface you're normally putting your film on. So what they do is windows have to meet, they don't have to, but they choose to meet Energy Star requirements. These Energy Star requirements are written by the Department of Energy. They want to keep a window below a solar heat gain coefficient value. And then for the cold months, in the winter months, they want to keep the insulating value or U value down below a certain number. Well, they got pretty aggressive on the last update, and to meet the U value, so how well the window keeps heat in the cold months, the only way to meet it was to go to a triple pane window. Triple pane window is very expensive, a lot heavier. The hardware gets bigger, heavier duty. It's an expensive window. So the coating companies immediately worked and said, hey, if we put a low-E coating on Surface 2 and on Surface 4, it will just get those windows in under the U value that they needed to meet. So immediately, all the window manufacturers said, okay, we got to have a Surface 4 low-E window. So pretty much every window manufacturer out there now has a low-E coating on Surface 2. And if they want to meet Energy Star in those northern and central climates, they're going to put a Surface 4 low-E on it as well. Big deal, obviously, as I said, for window film. Now you got to be careful because you can't even clean the window without checking it. Our phones started lighting up like crazy. People calling like, hey, I just went out to a project and just was cleaning the window and I wrecked it. I was like, Surface 4 low-E. And they're like, what do you mean? I was like, put a low-E coating, and did you put a low-E detector on it? No. I was like, well, you got to have a low-E detector. So you got to watch. If it's a newer window, before you ever touch that window to clean it, put a detector on there. Make sure there's not a Surface 4 low-E coating on there. If there is, if you do run across them, you don't want to put your window film on it. One, you're never going to be able to clean that window properly or putting the film on. And if you put a blade to it, it's screwed. You'll mark up that window and be replacing the window. So the other thing is, if you do put window film over a Surface 4 low-E coating, you negate the performance of that low-E coating. You've actually wrecked their window and made it a performing window by putting film on it. So important to know, newer construction stuff, anything that's made out in the last 3 years, you better be checking for that Surface 4 low-E coating. The other thing to keep in mind is you'll hear this a lot. Well, that's only for the northern climates. I'll tell you, I've got 30 phone calls from South Texas where they're like, man, what's going on? Like, your meter's messed up. It's telling me there's a low-E coating on 4. I was like, it's never going to mess a Surface 4 low-E measurement. It's always going to get that right. And sure enough, they started checking, like, man, there's a lot of Surface 4 low-E coatings even in South Texas. So if it's newer construction, check it before you do anything on that window. You can still put film on, but you're going to need to go to an exterior film in all of these applications. So cover your butts, be watching for it before you ever touch it. Don't draw on there. Again, that $99 low-E card, at a minimum, have that and protect yourself. Blast check, obviously going to do a lot more, but at a minimum, have that to protect yourself.
So Justice got a question, and I think you kind of answered this earlier, but we just want to clarify it.
Yep.
His question is, if we use the lead to check the window and it's Surface 4, will it tell us if there's Surface 2? And I think you said that earlier, it's going to give you the first surface on the meter, and then you have to go from the other side to check the meter to indicate. It's not going to tell you on Surface 4 and Surface 2, right?
That's correct. So it'll come up on Surface 4 when you have the meter against that coating. It'll say Surface 1 has a low-E coating. If you ever get that, rest assured there's a coating out there on Surface 2 on what's the industry calls Surface 2. The outboard glass is going to have a low-E coating as well. They don't ever put a Surface 4 low-E without mating it with a Surface 2. So you can go around to the outside, take a reading from the outside, and it'll show up then from the outside that, yep, there's a Surface low-E coating, and it'll show up as whatever silver type of coating it is.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So if you're getting it on Surface 2
be prepared
and
for that
3,
for anything new construction.
You kind of just need it on one side, but if you're getting it on Surface 1, then you need to go on the other side to double check your Surface 2, or in that case would be 3.
Yep.
If you're looking from the inside point of view. But yeah, there's your answer on that, Justice, is that it's gonna give you the first coating only, and then you just have to go around on the other side to check for the second coating on it. But it will identify once you check both sides.
Correct. And the one thing that's going to be really critical about this when you go back to your home supplier and tell them, hey, I've got a Surface 2 and Surface 4. The first question I'm going to ask is what type of low E is on Surface 2, because you're now going to be putting an exterior film on that low E pane of glass on that exterior. They have to know what the performance of that low E coating is. And that's super critical. They're going to need to know that. So when you run into that, the low E card's not going to be enough to get that project approved. That's where you're going to need the glass check meter to tell you what type of low E coating is out there so that they can give you the proper film to glass chart recommendation. So helpful hints. So we talked about this a little bit, but just ones that you yourself, just in case you get out in the field and you forgot your detector. Anderson windows, anything in the name that says heat lock, guaranteed it's a Surface 4 low E coating. Don't touch it. Don't put a blade on it. Leave that surface on, because you don't want to do anything with it. So heat lock that one in your head. Anderson windows, it's a Surface 4 guaranteed. Pella, they'll have a little etch stamp in the bottom corner. Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say, if you're reading that picture, it says Smart Sun Low E4, basically talking about low E on Surface 4. Is that what that is?
Yeah, but the E4 is a code for their type of low E coating. That E4, believe it or not, is I think E4 is actually 366, which is a triple silver low E. So don't hang up on the E4, because that means something else. They have their own codes for that. Heat lock is the key thing for anything Anderson. Any window they sell that has a Surface 4 low E coating, it'll say heat lock and it'll be stamped in the corner there. And then
I got
for
Kenny
Pella,
saying
you're
this
going to
is
watch
like calculus class. I told people this
kind of like
this is going to be very informative. So like, you have to pay attention. And sometimes you may have to watch it twice to understand some of the stuff. But Mark has simplified this a lot, man. I mean, talking to him, it did take me a couple of times to kind of understand some of the stuff, especially if you're not doing flat glass currently. If you're doing some of the flat glass and you run into some of these things, you're going to understand it a lot easier. But if you're thinking about going into it, or you're dabbling into it a little bit, this is very important information, because like he said, you can save yourself from a very big headache and very costly repairs.
So all three of those on the Pella are going to have Surface 4?
Correct. Yep. So have an advanced window, but if they add the word comfort after it, that makes it a Surface 4 low E coating. Sun defense as well. They have a sun defense window, very big seller for them. If they put a plus sign after the sun defense, that adds a Surface 4 low E coating. Same thing with natural sun. That'd be their single silver. But if you add a plus sign, that puts a low E coating on Surface 4 as well. So great little cheat codes to have. Just print this one out, carry it in your wallet, carry it somewhere, because it'll help
Screenshot.
you if you don't have it with you. Yeah, exactly. Screenshot it and carry it with you.
Put it as your favorite on your favorite picture, so that way you can jump right to it.
There you go. All right, next slide. Just hitting some other popular things that we sell quite a bit of. Our heat sheets. You can go to the next screen to show a video of the heat sheet, what it does. So you can see in the picture there, it lights up when it's exposed to heat. I think the next slide will show a video of it actually working. But a little sales tool. If you want to demonstrate it, you can have a sample of the glass that's no film, and then you can have a sample of glass with your window film. We've got some kits that we'll talk about in a second here. But yeah, it's got a heat lamp, and you can see the clear side where you don't have a window film is going to light up because it's letting all that heat through. And the other side just stays nice and neutral because the window film is blocking all that. So heat sheet, inexpensive, $39 little tool that you can have. You can do it in a heat lamp demo, or you can even go to a window and put a film sample up there. As long as you have direct sunlight, you can do that demo, and it'll light up on an actual window with sunlight. So another way to use it. So
don't you have a little kit? Don't you have a little kit to like bring them to flat glass consultations as well?
Yeah.
I feel like what my old salesman had one of them years ago.
That has these. Yeah, it's one that you can carry either into the home or doing in-home demos. Here's the on a live window. Yeah. This window's a hard coat low E window, and so with the film up there, it lets all the heat come right through. This was shot actually in the winter, and even in the winter, you still get a good. You can see what it can do even in the winter. So, yeah. Mm-hmm. And then our infrared cameras. These are fun. Yeah. Yep. These are great. So we're dealing when I present to all the replacement window companies, the Pellas, the Andersons, all these guys. I just tell them you have decision makers that make analytical decisions, and you have people that make sensory decisions. Some people like the meters. They're seeing a measured meter and a BTU meter reduce the amount of heat coming. Those people are analytical decision makers. They see the number value that makes them buy the product. But you might have a husband and wife, and maybe the husband's convinced, but the wife might not be. She goes, I saw it, understand it doesn't make me want to buy the product. What's it going to feel like? What's it going to look like? They're more sensory makers. So that heat sheet for sensory, the infrared camera kind of joins both of them together. And this next video shows you if I sold window film, this would be my go-to. I would do this on every project. I think it's powerful. Pick a window right when you get there where the sun's coming in. Just say, hey, I'm just going to put a piece of film up here just to see what happens in your home, and just put it up there and walk away. Come back 10, 15 minutes later, find that shaded area on the floor, and then put that infrared camera. Look how off that area. Dropped it down to 70 degrees, and the area right next to it's up in the 80s. So you can visually see it, you can measure it, and you can show that customer. It's like, wow, look what my film did in your windows. Just that little bit. What if I did your whole home or your whole building? Imagine how much it would reduce your heat gain. So I think that's just sales present way to do it. So
hell yeah.
I love it. That's what I said earlier is I do that. I show them the reflection. I mean, the heat coming in on the floor, and then we talk about fading and what it does for both the heat and the fading aspect of it.
Yep. Yeah. All the benefits that come along with it.
Yeah. This is, it's a little bit different than a standard infrared camera, I guess. Or is it just simple as a infrared camera?
It's just a straight infrared camera. It's a FLIR product. So it's a product that we carry and rebrand and package it into our kits and our sales kits and everything else, because it goes hand in hand with what we do. So we went through and done all the homework. You can go out and spend dollars on an infrared camera. This one is actually the prices are coming down. They had started coming down, then they all started going back up. Now prices are coming back down. So you'll see a price drop coming on these somewhere in the next month or two here, from what I know. Yeah, so we pick out the does just enough capability. And because there's cheaper ones out there, but they're not going to do quite what this one does. So we've done the homework for you to make it work for what we know you guys are doing. So
awesome.
Then our basic BT meter, solar transmission meter. This is kind of a staple in the industry. It goes in every sales kit that goes out or has one of these in it. Basically, just showing how well your film processes sun's energy from coming through. Lower the number, more you're stopping of the heat gain from the sun. So again, this one does BTUs, but it also can switch into transmission mode, because BTUs can get a little confusing for a customer. So we designed this product to have the transmission percentage. Every customer can understand that, hey, your window without film is letting 65% of the energy through. I put my film on, it drops it to 15%. Very easy concept to understand, makes it a great selling tool. And that works for automotive as well. This is one that can cross over and do both automotive as well as architectural. So meter, this one gets a little more technical for sure. If you want to really dig in and compare the specs of different films from different film manufacturers, this is a great resource to do it with. It's going to give you several values, UV transmission, light transmissions, tint percentages. It'll give you a full solar transmission like the BTU meter does. Then it gets interesting in the infrared area. It'll give you both a narrow band infrared transmission and a full spectrum, telling you the whole spectrum of infrared. So some film manufacturers only tolerance between 900 and 1,000 nanometers. Hard to see on the slide, but there's a couple of dashed lines in that red area that's infrared. They're just showing just the performance there, where infrared is all of that red area that you see in that spectrum. So we give you both numbers because it's one company specs it one way and one specs it other. How do you know how they compare? Well, we produce the equalizer, put it in here, show you both that narrow band value and the full infrared transmission value. It's just great to compare products if you're really trying to dig in and find out which one's going to perform better from an infrared standpoint. Great piece of information to have, a great tool to have to work with. Another one, I'll touch on it real quick, is the damaged weight. Second bullet point there, that bottom line, damaged weight factor. Huge selling point for window film. Damaged weight is a measurement created by the window industry, by several scientists in the window industry. The lower the rating of the damaged weight, the more protection you get from fading and breaking of fabrics and everything. So the longer your furnishings are going to last, basically. So the best low-E window out there, triple silver low-E window, is going to reduce that damage weight value from 100 to 50. So it's like, okay, well, that's pretty. You can take that same window film on it, and depending on the tint of that window film, you can take that damage weight value all the way down into the teens, like 10 or 12 for a darker tinted window film. So it's a great selling point, especially when you have a customer that might be like, well, I have a great window already. I got a triple. I don't really need your window film. So you know what? Let me show you what happens. Here's the triple silver low E. Yep, you're good. 50. That's still letting 50% of that rating is still getting in and causing your rating. Look what happens when I put my film, make a great window a super great window. So another selling point, I got a lot of guys out there using this tool just for that damaged weight. They're like, all we do is use the damaged weight part and show a customer how much better we can make their windows. So more suppliers are starting to talk about damaged weight. You'll see it. You'll see it happen, come up more and more, and start seeing it in spec sheets down.
That's very interesting as well. I guess, again, you're helping us. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
You can go. Oh, I was just saying you're kind of helping us, when the glass manufacturers are making windows that it almost seems like we don't need tint anymore. You're helping us find little ways to be like, hey, look it, but we can still help.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's it. I mean, like we were talking about with those triple silver low E's, very high performing windows, and the need for window film is lessened because of those great performing coatings. But when you bring out all the benefits of the window film, including the reducing that damaged weight value, and it's going to slow down the fading of everything inside the home, you start bringing back in, and you have a kind of a back into that sale where it's like, okay, yeah, heat gain was your primary. That I'm going to help you a little, but not much with the triple silver low E. But let me show you what I can do to that triple silver low E window. I can slow down your fading because you're still going to fade with that window. So yeah. Another way to sell. Free spray. You can go on to the next slide. I think I have a video of the free spray. So if you ever go to a job site and the window looks suspect, this window is very obvious. You can see that it's not only looks dirty, but it looks like there's seal failure. You can see that it looks like in that window, there's something's going on. This freeze spray, go to the bottom corner, and this is a cover thing. You want to show your customer you to see this. You spray that on the corner of the window, wipe the moisture off, and you can see inside the airspace there's moisture condensing in there. That means there's seal failure in that window already. Let your customer know, hey, I'm just letting you have seal failure here. I can still put my film on if you want, but you're gonna have to sign off that you have the seal failure is not because of the window film I'm installing. So lower your ass if you look at a project, it's like, man, I think I'm seeing something. Hit it out for sure. If it condenses inside, you can these windows technically should be replaced. But if you want to stick with it, then I can put the film on, but just know it's not because of me. Window film kits that we put together. We put these together a year ago. Number one phone call I get, it's like, hey, I've done automotive tint my whole life. I'm just getting started in architectural. What do I need? So we put together a series of kits. I show 3 of them here. We have a beginner's kit, right? I don't have a big budget. I'm just getting started. All right, get the beginner's kit. It's got that low E card in there, so you can at least make sure you're never putting film on a piece of glass that's low E without knowing it. You get the heat lamp, you get the BTU transmission meter, you get that heat sheet in there, you get the little base to set your whole thing up. It's got a temperature gun, so if you wanted to do that infrared camera demo, but wanted to do it the poor man's way, you can just shoot the temperature with a temperature gun and still get it done. So it kind of gives you the basics to kind of get started. And there's 6 of glass included in there, 6 single panes of glass. So you can get your most popular selling window film on those. Make sure you get your high margin stuff in there with the stuff. So then you can show them the benefits of those different films. So it comes in a nice little kit. The basic kit, $6.99. You work your way up to the SK 2020. That adds in that solar spectrum transmission meter that did the damaged weight and the infrared numbers. It also adds the tempered glass detector, and so this one you are equipped. You're going to be able to tell if the glass is tempered. You're going to be able to tell where the low E coatings are. Is it laminated? What the performance of that window is based on the low E type. You can be able to demonstrate the window films, transmission meter, so obviously everything else you have there. So that's a bit. It's a popular one. We saw a lot of those. And then it adds the infrared camera in there. So you get the infrared camera in that one, and it adds a can of freeze spray. I think gets talked into that one as well. It gives you options. The cool thing is it's the exact same case for each kit. So if you do start with the beginner's kit, say, hey, I'm going to wait. Next year I'll buy a glass check. Get it in, pop it in, a spot in the kit for it to go. So you can build it as you go. If you don't budget to do it right away, you can work your way up there. So good options.
That's cool.
For anybody starting in architectural, at least get that beginner's kit and get started. So, and then the tint meters. We talked about this briefly for automotive. Again, the only tints that are 100% made today, and all the products you see, everything that we manufacture is all made here in Toledo, Ohio. So we are truly a made in USA. Probably one of the only handful of companies in the U.S. that has a trade surplus when it comes to electronics that we ship there versus what we bring in. So very proud of that. We've stuck to had many opportunities to take our manufacturing overseas, but we've stuck to our gun with all of our instrumentation. We want to make it here. So 2-piece tent meter. It's the best selling 2-piece tent meter in the world. Korea, 3 years ago, Korea decided they were going to start testing for your registration on your car. You had to have your windows checked for tint when you had your car inspected annually. So Korean government brought in all the tint meters in the world, evaluated. Only 1 meter is allowed in the entire country of South Korea. TC 3800 product. So it is legit. It gets the job done. Great seller for us. Chile did the same thing a year and a half ago. evaluated them all. Ours was the only product allowed in the country of Chile. We're now working with India. India is going to put something in place. From what we've heard, we're in pretty good shape, but we'll wait to see. But yeah, that 2-piece tent meter, that's a rock solid product, a huge seller for us. And then we got the slide over type as well for a little less money if you're just doing side windows. So.
Can I just ask real quick, how do you secure whole countries?
A lot of work. So with Korea, it turned out good. We have distributors in Korea. There was 2 facets of the government we're evaluating, and we happened to have our distributors, each one of them had a contact at both of those facets of the government. So we had they did all the legwork for us actually, and got us approved. And after the evaluations, they said yours was the only one they would allow. So yeah, with Chile, we just connected with the distributor down there that said, hey, this is what's going on. We'll want to rep you. And so we inked a quick partnership with them, and they got our product in there. And most cases, you have to have a buyer on the ground in the country to be approved. So we had to move pretty quick on those in those cases. Same thing with India. We've got a partner there that's all ready to go. So once it does get approved, we've got a supplier there on the ground. So yeah, so we're proud of those products. We're proud of making our stuff here and still producing it all domestically is a pretty cool thing. Yeah,
yeah, it is.
So yeah, you'll see all kinds of tent meters. You go on him. Yeah. Unless it's the EDTM, the tent checks. It's the only one made in the States, and everything else is made partially or in full in China. There's it's buyer beware, man. I've tested them all. There's some garbage out there. They're not even close. So it's worth spending a couple bucks more for what our products are versus what you're going to find on Amazon from all the Chinese suppliers. So.
Now, Mark, are you guys gonna be present at SEMA, or do you have a booth there, or?
We were last year. We're gonna have to miss it this year because SEMA and Glass Build America are the exact same week, so we can't. It strains us too much. Glass Build America is our big show. It's crazy. That show is a lot of fun. They always joke that people come up, they're like, are you guys dealing crack out of this? What are you guys doing? Because we are swamped. We never get a break, and it goes from the show starts till the end of the day. We are buried in people, and that's being in booths next to companies that are 100 times the size of us. But yeah, we're able to pull a lot of people in. So it's a cool experience. We're industry, we're very well known, and kudos to our employees and everything else. They put their heart and soul into what we do, and our products, they last. They're good, and if they don't, we'll stand behind them. So it's good stuff.
Awesome. This has been really helpful. It's been one of the most informative podcasts we've had. We've covered a lot I know it's been an hour and a half, but oh my God. I think we just took a little major in tint meters. But thank you.
I try not to get I try not to go too. I mean, you can get really technical, and I try not to go too deep. I have a lot of friends in the window film industry, and they always tell me, dude, you like geek out on this. I was like, I know. It's like, use out, and then we'll put it into layman's terms so everybody can understand. So I do better at that all the time. And I by no means am a genius. I just have a lot of experience that's taught me a lot. So.
No, you definitely have a lot of information, and like I said, the people that definitely do flat glass, like Dustin Gonzalez, has kept on saying that he's geeking the hell out and he loves it because he loved doing flat glass. And like I said, the people that do
Right.
flat glass, and that as I get more into flat glass, I'm learning more and respecting the hell out of these meters a lot more, and just the professionalism of having the meter, showcasing in front of the customer, and just having the knowledge, okay, I'm doing the right thing, I'm providing the right solution for the customer, and just to have that comfort, and like you said, knowing the film to chart and knowing what the glass actually has because of these meters, it's very helpful. The infrared camera, oh my god, like I said, it's a great presentation, especially when you have, like you said, a husband and wife, because it literally just will show them what it can do for them. And then when they visually see it, they're like, wow. It's always that wow factor every time you show it.
Yeah. Anytime you get your customers say, wow, that's a good day.
Yeah, no,
And that's
love
a couple
it.
of things. Yeah. And for guys that are on the fence about getting into flat glass, into architectural, I'll tell you the number one thing I've heard over the years is I wish I'd have switched over sooner. And the margins in flat glass are so much better. The money you'll make, the work overall is easier as you get a little easier on your body than crawling in the back of a car. So it's that's probably one of the biggest things I've heard over the years. Man, I wish I would have got into architectural sooner. And the other thing I hear is people are like, "Oh, I'm afraid to." Like a car, I know I can't do too much damage, but some windows I can mess up their home. And again, it doesn't take much information. It just making sure you know where that low E is huge. And then if you do jump to the elite and can tell them a little about what the window's already doing, that's you've got 90% of the battle taken out. So that's huge. And then the last item I'll is your film supplier should be supporting you. They should. When you have questions, if you're equipped with the meters and they can't answer your questions about what you should be doing, you should probably look for a different film supplier. That would be my advice. And again, I'm not promoting one over the other by any means, but if they don't support you when you have the tools, they should be able to pretty well tell you what's going on. And if they can't, then yeah, that would concern me. I'll just say that.
Yeah. Oh, shoot, I just was gonna ask a question. I forgot.
There's a lot of glass. I mean, flat glass coverage. We got all out Tin in here. He's big on flat glass. He's actually got a group about flat glass, and I'm actually going to invite you into that group as well, because like you said, there's a lot of information that you can share. That's why I wanted to bring you on. And honestly, last couple times we talked, I wanted to bring you on, but I didn't understand a lot of it. And now as I'm getting more into the flat glass, I'm understanding it. I'm like, okay, when you're talking, I want to be able to understand and also relay. I mean, I didn't plan it to be this long, honestly. I thought we were going to try to keep it as short as possible, because I know when you're sharing information, a lot of time people get bored and overwhelmed.
Right.
And you did a great job, first and foremost. Like, awesome job on presenting it and keeping it as simple as possible for us laymen lame guys that don't know a lot of technical stuff on flat glass. Even when you share the little chart, I'm still like like trying to understand it. Now Ryan's done flat glass for a very long time, and he looks at it, his eyes lights up when he sees that chart, because he appreciates the information that's there. And like I said, as I'm learning more and more, I'm appreciating that information as well. But thank you for doing this, for taking the time out and doing it. I think we should do one more, like, in a couple months, just to kind of, recoup a little bit and get this information out. It's I love doing these informative podcasts, just because I think the better we're, stacked up with information and tools, the better we can be for the industry.
Yep.
I
And
do
that's what I
remember-
love about this industry. they're people are willing to share and willing to help. And there's a lot of people in this industry that will take the time to answer questions, especially people getting into flat glass for the first time. I've got a lot of good friends that they just do that, and their opinion is, rising tide raises all boats, and they think the more professional this industry gets, the more it's going to benefit everybody. So that's what I like about this group, and everyone is they're willing to help, and you don't see that in every industry. So unique in that way. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I agree. So one of the things I wanted to ask you, I was thinking about before too. Somebody had asked me this a while back. Metal blinds, some of these metal blinds, now they can trap too much heat and cause issues with the glass as well, right? So do we have to worry about that?
That'd be something you'd want to go to your film supplier. Sometimes they will have something included in their film to glass chart about blinds. And it depends, I think. And again, I know the meter side of things and I know the glass side of things. I don't always know how it applies to a film. I've learned a lot over the years, conversations with some brilliant minds in the industry, like Miguel at Solar Guard. Every time I go around that guy, I swear I walk away with about 20 pieces of information that I never knew about window film. So, and there's a lot of guys like that in the industry, but Miguel's one that I always lean on and likes to lean on me. So him and I together, it's like, I think we can answer any question that comes up. Yeah. It's things like that, like blinds and things like that, and partial shading. I know that's a big one. Part of the window is shaded and the other's not. Obviously, you're going to have some stress on the glass and limit what type of film can go on. So there are some physics that I know go into the equation to be well. But yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, blackout currents. That's a real big one. But yeah, any last words? I know it's almost 2 hours again. Thank you so much. And
yeah,
you said something about not going to SEMA because there's a big glass convention going on. Where is that convention happening, and what is that called again?
Yep, Glass Build America. It's going to be in Orlando this year, that same week as SEMA. So November 3rd, 4th, 5th, somewhere right in there. First week in November. Basically, Glass Build America, you will get all the glass producers, you'll get some window manufacturers, and then you'll get everybody affiliated with glass in any way, whether they're tempering, laminating glass, coatings companies. It's basically all the suppliers and some of the customers and vendors and everything just that are linked. You get some photovoltaic in there. You get window manufacturing equipment. It's just a little bit of everything that has to do with residential and commercial glass both, and glazing. So sometimes you do get some window film companies in there. You'll see a few slip in there and make an appearance. So, but yeah, that's our big show. It's our primary audience. Majority of our sales are more to flat glass and window manufacturers. And they are window film, but window film continues to grow. So it's becoming a bigger segment and a bigger percentage of our sales than it ever has. So we give it its due. That's for sure.
Awesome.
Love it. Thank you so much again. Now this event that's in Orlando, this Glass Build America, how does it happen annually, or do they change it around different times that you're not able to attend SEMA? Or
this is just the first time it's ever happened to fall in the same week. We're still the old trade show industry. If you follow it at all, COVID just totally wrecked. And this is still a result of COVID, believe it or not. We're in 2025 and still feeling the impact of COVID, juggled all the trade show schedules. So it kind of bounced around, and it happened to fall right on SEMA's dates. Usually it occurs in September or October. This year it got bumped all the way back to November. for them to get a spot in Orlando. But it bounces pretty much every other year. It's in Vegas, and it used to go Vegas, Atlanta every other year. They've now kicked Atlanta out, and last year was in Dallas. This year, Orlando. Next year, it goes back to Vegas, and then they're supposedly, I think, if I heard it right, they're going to cycle every other years in Vegas, and then they'll pick another city in those off years to go to. So usually September or October, 3-day show. It's great. We love it.
Well, if you're missing Atlanta, we're doing a show in Atlanta in May next year. And we will love your presence there because it's going to be our first official event. I mean, I've hosted other events with another group before, but this will be our first film annual event where we're going to have competitions and some seminars. And if you're able to, or if you want to, we can talk about it and see what we can set up with it, because we love doing the informative stuff for our industry, because I think the more knowledge we can throw out there, the better we can grow the industry together.
Yep, absolutely. That's the truth.
Well, thank you so much. Ryan, any last word?
No, I just think it would be a great idea to see them at the event as well, just to help spread the word and show these awesome machines.
Right. I definitely agree with that. Like I said, that's something that we can definitely talk about whenever Mark has some time on it. But Mark, any last words? Let me know. Otherwise, we'll kick it off. We're almost at 1 hour and 50 minutes. Again, thank you so much for the presentation. Thank you so much for the information. Like I said, we definitely got to do another podcast with you in a couple months, especially around maybe December or January, just because a lot of people are slowing down and they have more downtime and they're taking more information and kind of do that. Depending on your schedule, obviously. I know you're a busy man. I know we were going to do it initially last week and we had to reschedule for this week. So we appreciate you giving us time to spread the word.
Yeah, I appreciate the invite, and thank you for having me on. And if people have questions beyond that, they're always free to reach out to me, email me, whatever, call our office. Try to be available as much as I can by phone, but email always works great, and I can usually get back to answering questions by email so all good.
Awesome. Love it, sir. Thank you so much. Have a great night, guys. Everybody have a good night. And next week, we're going to have the Texas Squeegee, Mouth of the South, Carlos, with Tinder Battles, since Tinder Battles is going to be happening in January. So if you want to get some information on Tinder Battles, don't miss next week's podcast. With that, have a great night, guys. Thank you so much.
Later.